The next type of expression that I want to look at is called a comparison expression. Now, a comparison expression will almost always give us, unless it gives us something illogical, but logically speaking, a comparison expression gives us either true or false. So if I say A equals B, now, does A equal B? We would say no, it does not, because A is 10 and B is 9, and I'm using a comparison operator here, not an assignment operator. So if I say A equals B with one equal sign, then what it's going to do is it's going to put the value of B in A and then print it out. So A is now at this point equal to 9, and then it prints it out. But if I say, does A equal to B? Is A equal to B? Right, with a comparison operator, then it's going to say false, because when this expression returns, it says, no, those aren't equal. Is A greater than B? Yes, it is. So that returns true. Now, typically, these are used as part of a flow control in our code, either to control a loop or to control branching in our code or to control something like that. We don't often just print out the return value of this kind of expression because it's not really that useful to print out true or false. Those true or false responses are then used to control something else in our code. But that is how a comparison expression works. Now, the last type is the most confusing type in practice, I think. A logical expression uses logical operators and, or, and not to return Boolean values. So just like a comparison expression returns a Boolean value, these return Boolean values as well. But again, we are using complex D is greater than C. So if I say this expression is a complex or a Boolean expression, and it uses the AND operator. So it says, is A greater than B and also D greater than C? And when I run that, the answer, of course, is true. If either one of those is not true, because of the AND, both of them have to be true, then it turns to false. If I replace that with an OR, then only one of these has to be true. It doesn't matter the other one. They can both be true, but if they're both false, then it turns false. Otherwise, it becomes true. So the only way in an OR situation for it to be false is for both expressions to be false. So there's a lot going on with these. And I could say even something like this. Okay, so I could have all kinds of things going on here with my code. And I can do all kinds of really complex things, but you have to be careful with these because you're getting into some very complex operations, and the logic there becomes very quickly difficult to follow. So you got to be careful with these, with the logical expressions, and we don't use them to create things like this very often because it just becomes very difficult to debug and very difficult to follow. So simplicity is always a better option. So those are the types of expression, and that's the end of logical expressions.